April, and because Leader is new for East Round, it has actually taken a wee bit of time for it to kind of kick in and to kind of create awareness. So I would say over the last few months, we've really started to gain momentum, and since December we have passed 3 projects and have therefore committed £157,200 for our projects in East Round, which is great actually, because we're really over the 3 years, we've also got to get a wee kind of move on and sort of trying to spend the money. So that's almost about half. If we've got a 340k budget to kind of get rid of and spend in our rural areas, it's about half, so we're quite pleased with that, I think. So it was 3 projects, and I can tell you who they are because it's all been passed, it'll be publicised. The first one was the Neilston Development Trust, have put in to help renovate and do up their building. It's the old bank in Neilston, and the reason that was eligible was because it's very much a community facility, and it's going to be able to offer other services. So for example, renting out business space, which is great because actually East Renfrewshire is lacking in business space. So that's another opportunity. It will give them the chance to upgrade the cafe area that they've got in the bank at present, and very much, I think it's quite a hub of the community actually, the bank, so, or the old bank. So they've been awarded £90,000 to help with their project. We have had a feasibility study come forward. Now again, these are things that are eligible for Leader because a long-term plan of the feasibility could turn into a larger scale project. So the feasibility study is looking at renewable energy techniques, ideas and projects, and how to help people apply for certain grants that are out there for kind of renewable energy. So that's going to take place, feasibility across rural East Renfrewshire. And another project that came forward was actually from the council, the Economic Development Department, and it was a training project with employability opportunities. So what would actually happen is that 80 people are going to be employed and trained for 6 months, and they're going to be trained on a number of skills, but primarily rural skills, and that's why it was particularly looking at Leader as a fund to help fund that. So that would help in terms of gaining the skills, and of course we've got quite a lot of new and developing tourism attractions where things like path maintenance, landscaping are all going to be pretty relevant. People are not going to be using Dams at Darley Country Park if they can't walk through the paths, if they're not well maintained, if it's not kept attractive. And same with Whiteley Wind Farm area. People are not going to use it if it's not being maintained. So they're going to gain all these skills. So that's another quite a big project, but I guess 80 people as well. So that's excellent in terms of training.
Is the Whiteley Wind Farm their own wind?
I think you might be thinking of the Whiteley Fund that's been made available. Yeah, that goes out to the rural community as well. It's been administered by the council, but it's the same thing. That projects, I'm not directly involved in this, I just know about it, but people come forward to apply the same way as they do for Leader, for projects that are going to be of community benefit. And actually, it's come about at a really good time because that money that's available from the Whiteley Wind Farm Fund is a perfect match for Leader. Leader is European public money, and essentially the wind farm money is private, so it's a great match to come together. So if anyone had a project and they weren't sure how to get the match funding, well, the wind farm money could be there.
It's also the same with Leader is one of those very unusual funds in as much as its eligibility stretches across the sectors. There's hardly any funders that are eligible for private sector, public sector and third sector. So from that perspective, actually potentially opens up a whole host of different kinds of working. And also if there's something that an idea that somebody had, but we're not sure how they would go about finding match funding for it, Linda could probably help.
Oh, right. The thing
thing I was going to ask when you said about the 5% contribution, there's an awful lot of really, really small organisations, particularly in rural parts of East Renfrewshire, would they be allowed to make that contribution in kind?
You can put forward in-kind payments, as long as you've got a proper kind of audit trail to support that, so time sheets and things like that, pay slips, that kind of thing. So yes, in-kind contributions are eligible, absolutely, yeah.
I was just wanting to clarify the individuals for public support. So that just somebody's got a really good idea and would make it real for the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the project, the idea comes forward and, for example, it fits with the kind of East Renfrewshire ethos and, the strategies that I mentioned, if it complements those kind of things, then it's more likely to gain public support than something that's completely opposite from what the local authority is trying to achieve, for example. So yes, that's definitely, and we encourage any sort of inquiries to come forward, and I kind of try and sit down with as many people as I can to go through. So yes, lots of different types of people, groups, and organisations can come forward.
So that's probably the back of that question. How is the funds allocated? Is it more, or is it plan over a 3-year process? Is it each year?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. It's a rolling fund, so it's not like we've got an allocation for every year. We have got 340,000 for 3 years. So that doesn't mean that we have to spend something every year, because we've taken about 6 months-ish to kind of get going. And now we've spent quite a big chunk, but I think, well, that's good, because we're kind of on track if we're profiling, say. And if you could break it down, it works out at about 30 grand a quarter. If you kind of want to just
thinking that, for example, if the first 2 years come with some reasonably good ideas, and the third year comes up with this great innovative ideas, but money.
Well, that's it. But the thing is, on the other side of it, what happens if we did keep some money aside and nobody came forward? We think, ooh, it's where the lag have got to kind of juggle and see how we're getting underspend. But what we do want to realise is that some areas might not do very well with their spending. And if we finish our programme after 2012, everything's done, tidy away, tick the box, it gives us a really good opportunity to go back to the Scottish Government and say, look, leave some more please, if they have had to claw back money from any other area. So I'm quite keen that we do spend well, our projects deliver, we said what they've done what we said they were going to do, then I'm quite keen that we do keep going forward. The question has come before, what happens if a project comes in at the last minute, it's great, you just don't know.
So it's not really fair to say that it's